I'm going to the builder of, for that we already have the information needed to bind it. So I need to bring those two outlets over here. Assistant, username, text field, username label, and email label. And I'm gonna also include this logout, which might be used pretty soon. Logout button. So that's the three information I need. Let's go back to our view controller and then create the outlets needed. So the presenter, what we need to bind those is an output from this one. Maybe let's see, first thing first, let me add what we have, this observable right now, which is part of auth interactor. Let's go back to the auth interactor. You have this user which is available, which is what it's of type observable user, but I'm gonna map it and bring it over here. So I'm just gonna say profile user, and it's of type observable of so we don't have any of those observables here. Import rx swift, we don't even have that, so we need to import everything to profile. So what all things we need? We might need use cases. Then we need rx swift. Rx Coco, Rx Relay, and Rx Swift. And even models can be brought in here. Models. Okay, that's enough. Go back and I'm gonna say import Rx Swift, and I'm gonna say observable of user is what I need. I'm not going to make it a nil type, but I need the user itself. So for user we need to import models. That's it. So now it will ask me to pass that here. So for that we need, like I added the use case, we can bring that using the use cases over here. Let account interactor equal to use case factory dot accounts interactor. Interactor has the profile user information which we need. Profile map, I can just profile account interactor dot user. I'm gonna map it. Before that I'm gonna filter it. Filter map is the most used way of user. $0 should not be nil. If that is not nil, I'm gonna map that user information $0. So this is like I'm force casting it down because I know if it is not nil I can use. So filter map is one pattern which is used very much in Rx Swift or any reactive programming. So I think this is fine now. I'm able to bring the profile user information to my profile. Now go to my outlet or to my presenter output, and then I can just create those things which need to be bound using. So what all things I need as output of this was the output of the use cases, which is more like what is that you need as a business case from your interactor or someplace like a service. But when you need to bind it with your view controller or the view, then it has to go through the presenter's output. So that's where I'm gonna add two properties here. I'm just gonna say username driver. So driver is only part of Rx Coco. So I'm gonna say user driver string, because I need to send the driver string back, and the email driver So those two things I'm gonna bring to the output. So output is giving an error already here. This is where we have defined output. Output is here, presenters function we call, and then we bind that output over here. So we can do that here. So username is one property. It needs to drive using, you need to pass the use case to as a parameter to this static function so that it is accessible. So it's already asking me to pass that. I will just say self.use cases. That's enough. And then I can use this use cases output value, which is that profile user. I can always map it, transform that into first thing is username, and can convert it that as a driver, error did not, I am not gonna drive if there is an error. So even I can, okay, that's a first parameter. Because it's more like a repetition, I can maybe grab these things outside. Let profile user equals, I'm gonna create this as a driver, convert this as a driver, drive with nothing dot never, and then I'm going to use this profile user dot map it. Okay, I'm just need to profile user needs to be mapped over here, dot map. I have the user already, dot username. It's a first parameter. I guess it's going to be profile user. Second one is email, profile user dot map $0 dot email. Already giving an error here because this value can be empty, so maybe I can just even pass an empty value. So that's enough. So if there is no username, it's going to send an empty value, else it's going to take this value, and email is always going to be there. So this is my output. It's already giving me an error. It's used before being initialized, so it need to move a little above. That's it. So it's binding properly. Value whatever is received will be sent to the view controller. So we need to bind that in view controller as well. So go to the view controller. We need a function to set up the bindings. Set up binding. Then I can just call presenters output. That's what always binds your view. I can just say drive. It's very easy now. Drive.dispose bag. You don't have a bag yet, so let's create a bag. For that we need to import RxSwift. Then you can just say private let bag equals dispose bag. It's just to dispose your observables. Dispose bag is done. Drive, and within the drive I can pass the control for on which I need to do this binding. So right now it is first thing, let maybe it's a username, so I can just say username.rx.text is what I need to bind. So that's how you do a drive and bind your property. So any change happening to your property, let's say username is changing, you change your username from somewhere and your profile gets updated with that, it's going to trigger something over here if it is bound with the same source. That's what is happening here. Similar thing, email is not going to change anyway, but then even if there is a change to your email, I can always drive dispose bag, and then during the drive I can pass the control on which I need to drive this. Email label.rx.text. So that's it. That should be called over here. Setup binding. Enough. I guess this should allow us to log in. So sign up we already checked. Let's try logging it with that same user which we signed up with, and then see whether this is getting populated I'm gonna use wish at the rate, it was email.com, password was wish1234. I guess it logged in, that's fine. Now go to profile, see that profile information, because that's also coming back, it's already saved, you're just using that to bind it, and you can see those things happening. Now we need to finish this logout and all those validations, but I guess we can start, because we have this information right now of the token being available for the user to start using it. I think we can go to the logout and all after we are done with because this session is mainly for chat rooms, so let's not venture too much away from it and then finish the whole project at later, and we can do that. But then I think we can start with creation of chat rooms and all right now, because we already have logged in this user with the token information. That token is what we need to send to the chat room, the WebSocket, to secure it. And then once you set up a connection using a secured JWT token, we can start negotiating with the server for communication. So that's what we will start focusing on right now. I think if you feel otherwise, let's say if you want to see the whole of the other sections complete before starting that, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'm just gonna start with the chat rooms sessions right now. So I'm gonna upload all of this, whatever code I have built until now, to my Patreon site. You need access, go there and subscribe, and you can get access to that code base. Otherwise, keep watching all the episodes. I think we will be around 16 or 17th episode right now, and watch all of this if you need to start watch all of these if you need to completely follow what has happened until now. Chat rooms are starting right now. We were at I wanted to secure the WebSocket before actually starting this session, because that's also important. So that's what we will do in the coming episode. We will secure that WebSocket, establish a connection, and then start interacting with the server. So that's going to come up pretty soon. So I guess keep subscribed, like, share, and watch all of the episodes until now. And I'm coming back soon with more episodes. So until then, it's bye from me.